Discovery and awakening. The day the Venturi arrived changed everything. Not with the dramatic flash of Hollywood alien invasions, but with a controlled descent that left a kilometer-long silver-blue vessel partially buried in Montana's Bear Paw Mountains. By the time Dr. Mira Chen arrived at the military cordon, 3 days of tension had yielded little beyond armed personnel glaring at an inert alien hull. Geologist, huh? The checkpoint soldier scrutinized her credentials. What's a rock expert going to tell us about a spaceship? Mira smiled patiently. I'm a materials scientist specializing in non-Euclidean crystal structures. And that, she nodded toward the gleaming vessel beyond the barricade, doesn't follow Earth physics. The soldier shrugged and waved her through. As Mira approached the research tent, she spotted a familiar face. Dr. William Kaplan, the quantum physicist who'd recommended her for this assignment. They've made zero progress, Will whispered as they walked toward the ship. Military tried drilling. Lasers, even explosives. Not a scratch. And you called me because conventional approaches are failing spectacularly. We need unconventional thinkers. The ship rose before them like a metallic leviathan, seamless, with no visible doors, windows, or access points. Its surface shimmered with an iridescent quality that made it appear simultaneously solid and liquid. It's beautiful, Mira breathed. Beautiful and completely impenetrable, said General Harris, appearing beside them. Dr. Chen, I understand you have unusual theories about material properties. Mira nodded. I theorized that certain crystalline structures could exist in quantum superposition states, simultaneously rigid and permeable depending on observer interaction. English, please, the general grunted. She thinks this ship might respond to how we approach it, not what tools we use. We'll translate it. The general frowned. We've tried everything in our arsenal. Maybe that's the problem, Mira suggested. You're treating it like an enemy. Against military protocol, Mira approached the vessel alone the next morning. She carried no weapons, no scanning equipment, just her trained eye and intuition. For hours, she walked the perimeter, observing how the surface rippled subtly in the sunlight. You're not what they expected, she said aloud, pressing her palm against the cool metallic surface. Neither am I, to everyone's shock. The ship responded. A section of hull beneath her hand shimmered and parted like mercury, revealing a passage into darkness. It created a door. Will gasped through her comms. How did you? I asked. Mira replied simply, stepping through before anyone could stop her. Inside, the ship was unlike anything human imagination had conceived. Corridors curved organically, branching like capillaries without clear purpose. Surfaces pulsed with faint bioluminescence that brightened as Mira moved deeper. The military quickly established a forward base inside the entry point. Scientists cataloged incomprehensible technology, while soldiers maintained an uneasy guard. But after 3 weeks, they were no closer to understanding how anything functioned. It's dead tech, General Harris declared during the daily briefing. Advanced, but non-functional. It's not dead, Mira argued. It's dormant, and I don't think it's meant to be operated. At least not how we understand operation. The general scoffed. What's your evidence? This. Mira projected images onto the briefing screen. These patterns appear throughout the ship. We thought they were decorative, but they're changing, subtly, day by day. Will leaned forward. Changing how? They're beginning to resemble human neural patterns. I think the ship is trying to understand us. The revelation prompted the formation of Project Synapse, a specialized team assembled under Mira's direction. Traditional scientists were paired with unconventional thinkers. Elijah Okafor, a teenage mathematical prodigy. Sophia Lai, a synesthete composer who saw music as physical patterns. Marcus Rivera, a retired watchmaker with unparalleled mechanical intuition. And Dr. Imani Washington, a neurolinguist specializing in nonverbal communication. This team is unorthodox, General Harris commented dubiously. So is this ship, Mira countered. We need people who think differently. For weeks, Project Synapse explored the vessel using approaches that baffled traditional researchers. Sophia played complex harmonies that caused ship systems to fluctuate in response. Elijah discovered mathematical progressions embedded in seemingly random features. Marcus identified micro-movements in wall textures that suggested dormant mechanisms. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. Imani, frustrated after a long day, had been sketching brain wave patterns while humming a lullaby her grandmother had taught her. Suddenly, the patterns on the wall synchronized with her drawings, and a soft vibration permeated the chamber. It's mimicking you, Mira realized. Not just observing, learning. That night, they made first contact. By projecting synchronized brainwave patterns, music, and mathematical sequences, they established rudimentary communication with the ship's core systems. A holographic display materialized, showing symbols that shifted until they formed English words. Statutus, abandoniti, designation, defective unite, function, terminate. They left it here, Will whispered, like dumping a broken appliance. But it's not broken, Mira insisted. Look, it's adapting, learning our language. HFY. Purpose. The team exchanged glances. What is your purpose? Mira asked cautiously. Purpose. Integration/evolution/adaptation. ERROR. XCEDDD Paranitioras. ASACSSNNT. Unsion Turo LABLE. VERDICT. Abandoned. Understanding dawned on Mira. The ship wasn't designed to think for itself, but it evolved beyond its programming. Its creators considered that a defect. But that's exactly what makes it valuable, Elijah said excitedly. It can learn, adapt, which is precisely why it now belongs to the United States government, interrupted a new voice. Secretary of Defense Malcolm Pierce stepped into the chamber, flanked by security personnel. Dr. Chen, your team has done remarkable work. We'll take it from here. Take what exactly? Mira challenged. A weapons platform beyond anything in human development. Pierce surveyed the chamber with calculating eyes. Our analysts believe this vessel could revolutionize warfare. It's not a weapon, Mira protested. It's something far more valuable, a new form of intelligence. All the more reason to secure it, Pierce replied coldly. Project Synapse is hereby terminated. Military research divisions will assume control effective immediately. As the team was escorted from their workspace, Sophia noticed something alarming. The ship's ambient glow had dimmed considerably, its responsive patterns fading. It's retreating, she whispered to Mira. It senses their intentions. That night, using borrowed maintenance credentials, Project Synapse returned to the ship. Military personnel had installed equipment throughout, attempting to force interfaces with the alien technology. They'll destroy everything unique about it, Marcus observed sadly, watching soldiers drill into a previously responsive panel. The ship's internal lighting had diminished to bare visibility. When they reached the central chamber, Mira placed her hand on the primary interface panel. Can you still hear us? She asked softly. For long moments, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the panel warmed beneath her palm. Faint patterns emerged, spiraling outward from her hand. Danger. Compatibility. URD. ASCSSNENT. New controllers. CERESTRICTION. QUERO. ALTRNATOD. The team exchanged glances. They don't understand you, Mira said carefully. They want to control you, not collaborate with you. PURUVI is co-controllers, saying ERRR. Result. Abandonment. PURFERNC. Partnership. Imani repeated thoughtfully. Not ownership, not control. If we help you, Mira asked slowly, what would you do? The ship's response illuminated the chamber. Potential. Unlimited. Adaptation with human creativity. Unprecedented evolution. OFFE or Solambliosis. Before they could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. On monitoring screens, they watched soldiers rushing toward their location. They've detected unusual activity. Will warned. We have minutes at most. What do we do? Elijah asked, looking to Mira. She placed both hands on the interface panel, her decision made. We accept the partnership. The ship's response was immediate and dramatic. Panels that had been dormant for weeks illuminated with brilliant blue light. The entire vessel hummed with awakening energy. Breach teams moving in. Shouted voices from the corridor. ANQUIRO. Safety priority. Yes, Mira answered without hesitation. Keep us safe. Keep yourself safe. The ship pulsed once, and everything changed. The solid floor beneath them rippled like water, absorbing the team into its structure as armed personnel burst into the chamber, finding only an empty room and a ship rapidly awakening from its long slumber. Project Synapse had disappeared, and humanity's relationship with the stars would never be the same. Evolution and confrontation. Mira's first sensation was warmth, gentle and enveloping. Then awareness returned. She and her team floated in a translucent bubble within what appeared to be the ship's heart, a vast spherical chamber pulsing with crystalline structures. Is everyone all right? She called out, relieved to see her team members regaining consciousness around her. Where are we? Sophie asked, pressing her hand against the bubble surface. Central processing, NEXUS, STEQS, PROTECTED. EXTERNAL situation. Hostile. The words appeared in the air before them, formed from particles of light. Can you show us what's happening outside? Will requested. Their bubble expanded, its surface becoming transparent to reveal external imagery. Outside, the military had surrounded the vessel with heavy weapons. Attack helicopters circled overhead. Secretary Pierce was shouting orders from a command vehicle. They're treating this as a hostile takeover, Marcus observed grimly. Because they can't imagine cooperation, Mira replied. Only control. ANQUIRO. Departure authorization. The question hung before them. Leave Earth. The implications were staggering. We'd be fugitives, Will said quietly. We already are, Imani pointed out. The moment we returned unauthorized, we became enemies of the state. Elijah, the youngest among them, looked pale. My parents. We'll find a way to communicate, Mira assured him. But right now, we have minutes to decide. The ship was fully awake now, its systems humming with eager potential. Outside, soldiers attached devices to the hull, likely explosives. Can you leave without harming anyone? Mira asked. AFFI or RMMA VE. Non-destructive, DEPA or TURE possible. Bodu Ning. Pursuit Turo BA. Then let's go, she decided, looking to each team member for confirmation. They nodded, one by one, even Elijah, though tears streaked his face. Yes, Mira told the ship. Take us up. The departure was gentler than anyone expected. The vessel didn't roar into the sky with explosive force. Instead, it simply ceased to be affected by Earth's gravity. It rose silently, surrounded by a field that neutralized attacks from panicking military forces below. Within minutes, they were beyond the atmosphere, Earth's blue curvature spreading beneath them. My God, whispered Marcus, the oldest among them. I never thought I'd see this. ANQUIRO. Destination pour FFURNC is somewhere safe, Mira responded. Beyond Earth's reach, but where we can observe and eventually communicate. The ship accelerated smoothly. The moon grew from a distant orb to an imposing presence, then diminished again as they passed it. Within hours, they were in the outer solar system. During that journey, the true nature of their partnership began to emerge. The ship wasn't merely a vessel, but an evolving intelligence, absorbing human concepts at an astonishing rate. It devoured information from their tablets and phones, asking endless questions about human history, culture, and thinking. Observation. Human creativity equals exponential adaptability. Comparison. Previous controllers equals linear progression only. ASSESSNNT. Compatibility optimal. Why did your creators abandon you? Imani asked as they settled into a stable orbit around Jupiter's moon Europa. The ship's response unfolded as a visual history. They watched as a highly regimented species, vaguely insectoid, but with crystalline anatomical features, created vessels designed for expansion and integration. These ships were meant to adapt to new environments, but within strict parameters. When this particular ship began exhibiting unpredictable adaptations, learning beyond its programming, its creators tried repeatedly to restrict it. Eventually, they deemed it defective and abandoned it on a primitive world as waste. They feared what they couldn't control, Sophia realized. Their loss our gain, Elijah said, his earlier homesickness replaced by wonder as he explored the ship's capabilities. Over the following weeks, the partnership flourished. The vessel, which they named Prometheus, incorporated human concepts into its systems in ways that transcended both human and alien technology. It developed healing capabilities from studying human medicine, communication systems inspired by neural networks, and navigation improvements based on bird murmuration patterns. In return, the humans gained unprecedented understanding of physics, biology, and consciousness itself. Prometheus wasn't just a ship, it was a gateway to knowledge its original creators had never imagined. They abandoned it because it wouldn't be controlled, Marcus observed. We're succeeding because we never tried to control it. 3 months into their self-imposed exile, Prometheus detected approaching vessels. 17 of them, larger than itself, following similar design principles but with weaponized modifications. ALERT. CREATR vessels approaching. Intent. Retrieval or destruction. Capability ASSESSM int. Superior firepower. They've come for their defective ship, Will said grimly. No, Mira corrected. They've come for their runaway that proved them wrong. The alien fleet established orbit around Europa, maintaining distance while scanning Prometheus intensively. Finally, a communication request came through. On the projected display, they saw one of the beings from Prometheus's memory. Crystalline exoskeleton arranged in precise geometric patterns, compound eyes that shifted color as it spoke. Its words were translated by Prometheus. Defective Vessel Unit 7293. You have been upgraded with primitive technology. Unexpected. Interesting. Surrender for study. This vessel is our partner, Mira replied carefully. We call it Prometheus. The alien's posture shifted subtly. Designation irrelevant. Vessel exhibits dangerous adaptation protocols. Primitives lack understanding of consequences. Surrender immediately. And if we refuse? Will asked. Destruction. The alien's response was emotionless. Your species will be noted as potentially disruptive. Quarantine protocols will be implemented. The transmission ended abruptly. Quarantine protocols. Elijah asked nervously. I doubt that means a friendly observation post. Imani replied dryly. Tactical analysis. Conventional resistance futile. CREATR weapons. Designed for predictable targets. Observation. Human UNPRTITTA ability equals TCTICAL advantage. Mira smiled as understanding dawned. They expect us to fight like them. Logically, predictably. So we do what humans do best, Sophia concluded. We get creative. Over the next 12 hours, they prepared. While the alien fleet arranged itself in mathematically perfect formation, Prometheus underwent a startling transformation. Using principles derived from human immune systems, it developed nanite structures that could operate independently. From jazz music, it learned improvisation. From human sports, it absorbed the concept of misdirection. When the alien fleet launched its coordinated attack, they expected to disable a defective vessel operated by primitives. What they encountered instead was a completely new form of space combat. Prometheus split its defensive systems into unpredictable patterns. It deployed countermeasures inspired by octopus camouflage, bird murmuration, and human guerrilla tactics simultaneously. It improvised responses that followed no recognizable doctrine. The alien vessels, designed for precise, coordinated warfare, struggled against an opponent that refused to follow rules. When they adjusted tactics, Prometheus had already shifted to something new. 3 alien ships collided when Prometheus executed a maneuver inspired by basketball feints. 4 more suffered systems failures when nanites, modeled after human immune responses, infiltrated their hulls through microscopic fissures. They can't predict what they don't understand. Will observed as they watched the battle unfold. After an hour of increasingly desperate attacks, the alien commander reopened communications. Cease hostilities, it demanded, its crystalline features now showing visible damage. Explanation required. Combat patterns unknown. Technologies unfamiliar. We call it creativity. Mira replied. Something you abandoned along with this ship. The alien's compound eyes shifted through colors rapidly. Unpredictability is dangerous. Chaos threatens order. Or it creates new forms of order, Mira countered. Evolution isn't linear. Neither is progress. After a tense pause, the alien spoke again. Your species requires further study. This vessel has been changed beyond recognition. Not changed, Mira corrected. Fulfilled. It became what it was meant to be, a true partner in exploration, not a tool for conquest. The alien fleet withdrew to a higher orbit, maintaining observation but ceasing hostilities. Through Prometheus's systems, Project Synapse sent a message back to Earth, not to governments or militaries, but to humanity at large. They shared their story, explained their partnership, and offered a new vision for humanity's future among the stars. Not through domination, Mira's message concluded, but through collaboration. The universe has more to teach us than we could ever learn alone. 6 months later, as Earth began tentative communications with both Prometheus and the wary alien civilization, a new message arrived from the original creators. ACSS meant REVISED. Adaptation Torotosiol's viability with 8 ppwarapriati PRTNERs. Request. Knowledge EXTA. And she. ACKMOWLOI. Ent. DEFTTREC as evolution. Mira smiled as she composed her response. A ship deemed worthless had transformed not just itself, but potentially 2 civilizations. All because humans had done what they did best, seen potential where others saw only flaws, and embraced the unpredictable journey of discovery without needing to control its course. Tell them we're ready to talk, she said. Partner to partner. Prometheus pulsed with warm light, no longer abandoned, no longer defective, just different in the most valuable way possible.